you, Amanda.
Welcome. I'm not really a techie girly, but
You got it
figured out.
You got it figured out. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. And thanks for joining us this morning. We are here and excited to share with you the new personnel action form, which is combining 3 PAs into one to hopefully simplify everybody's work instead of trying to figure out which form to use. So this form will be live on Tuesday. So we just want to get this out there so next week you are ready to go. Can everybody see the form? Everybody online?
Make it bigger.
Yes, yep.
I will try to make it bigger.
Yeah. What? How to do one of those? Oh, seriously?
That is a big help. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. All right, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Cindy Patterson, and I am the budget director here at the college. And then Brooke Hallman, the assistant budget director, will be telling you a little bit more about how we want you to name these. I'll walk you through the main form, and then I'll turn it over to Brooke to give you the details on how we would like you to name these so that they get the attention in the order that they need. So the top piece really hasn't changed. We're asking for, the name of the employee, their Warrior ID, all these things, checking the boxes that are here. We did add a payment in addition overload instruction, a payment in addition adjunct instruction. So as you're doing payment in additions, we just ask that you be really careful about which one of these boxes that you're checking. So as most of you know, we don't use PCNs anymore. Everything is by position. So it will be the title of the position, your department, FTE. None of this has changed. In the classification, you are going to see all of these different options as to what type of employee the individual is. Health benefits is whether or not they are eligible for health benefits. In the budget code, in number 8, you can have up to 4 different budget codes. The first box is the fund, so that's where you would put like 10 or 11 or 20. The second 2 is the function, so that's where you would put 01 or 04 or 11 or 10, whatever the second 2 digits. This third box is your 6-digit cost center, goes here. So you end up with your full 10-digit cost center. Then in percentages, these must be whole percentages. And if you have more than one, all of these should add up to 100% in total. So just make sure that those are there. Number 9 is whether or not it's a new position. So yes, no. If it's not, tell us who was the last person. Are they shift differential eligible? Most of that is going to be in physical plant as a custodian, in security as our shift officers, and maybe somebody, maybe library, that might be shift differential eligible. But those are the main ones that we would expect to see a shift differential eligible box checked, yes. In the comments, this is where we want you to tell us what it is that this PA is doing. So when somebody picks up a PA, they should be able to answer every question in their mind. What are we doing and why are we doing it? So give us as much information as you can as to why this PA is coming through. Box 11 is now a required box. These are the comments and or special notations that are going to go on an employment contract. If you don't have anything, that it's not a contract that's going out, please put in NA. Otherwise, it won't let you. It won't let you complete the form. And these employment contracts notations are very important, and those are other items that have been agreed upon between whoever the supervisor is and the new employee and what is expected. And so we want to make sure that all of those are duly noted. In number 12, the total class hours taught, that's where we ask for the ACA hours. The only ones that don't need this calculation are our faculty, because they're full-time, they're already teaching a full load, so you do not have to put in ACA hours for full-time faculty. Then on the right-hand side, if we have someone who is leaving a position, they might be going to another position on campus, or they might be leaving the institution. We're going to ask you to fill out this right-hand side of the PA. And so you will see where it's the separation. If you're making changes, so say you need to make a budget code change for a position, you're going to put the old budget code or codes, percentages and or percentages on this right-hand side, and you're going to fully complete the left-hand side. The only thing that's going to go on this right-hand side is a separation, or what are they changing from? And you're only going to tell us what's changing on this right-hand side. Before I move down, do we have any questions on the first 12 boxes?
So Cindy, if it's a separation, you want us to fill out everything on the right-hand side?
Is correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, we're going to move down now to 13. These are for our payment in additions for either adjunct or overload instructions. So this section is mainly going to be used by our academic divisions and workforce training. We'll be using this section. And so you'll see this first one is, these are our 4-credit courses. And in this first box, drop down, we want you to tell us what semester that this payment in addition is for. And then we need you to give us the details. Tell us the course, the section, the course title, how many credits, what are we paying them per credit? Are we paying per credit per student? Okay.
I believe we have to put in hours taught for a few of our instructors. What would we be putting in the comment box for our instructors at workforce training?
She's been putting no multiplier, and that works.
Yeah, just put no multiplier. And that's fine for the workforce training ones that have no hours that need to be entered.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Then if you're paying a flat amount per student, you're going to use this section down here. You're still going to put in the course, the section, the course title, but this is the section for a flat amount. Then in our non-credit courses, again, the drop down for the semester, and tell us your, what your center is. So workforce training, that might be Orfino or Grangeville or Lewiston. Your course title, your section. There is a drop down in the payment method. So whether you're paying somebody a guaranteed rate, an hourly rate, or whether you're paying per student. And then dependent on what you do here is what information you will put over here. And it will calculate across and it will give you a grand total. This grand total, depending on which section you're using, should tie to number 4 up here in the salary. And also remember to attach an MOA, which should be signed prior to any work being done and not after the work has been completed. Are there any questions in number 13? Okay, this is the second page of the PA. Whoever is preparing the PA will put their email in this box. Then they will fill out the routing, which people need to approve the PA that's being routed through, and you will put the appropriate email addresses in each of these boxes. Grants and contracts will be filled out if it is a Fund 20, which means it's a grant paying for whether it's a new hire or it's a stipend or whatever it is. If it's anything is funded from Fund 20 as part of this PA, grants and contracts need to be included and routed through for their signature and approval. So as these are routed, you're going to put, you'll put this, and then it goes to the coordinator, department head or director. They're going to, if they approve it, they're going to digitally sign it, and they're going to click the approve button, and it will, they're in the back, this has been programmed. If they approve it, it will automatically generate the email to the next email that's in the list.
The new button.
This click to start workflow. So the preparer can click this start to workflow button instead of having to generate an email to get it to go to this first person. If along the way someone says this isn't right, you're going to click this disapprove button and it will send it back to be corrected. And if it needs to be corrected, the signatures need to be updated so that we know that that next person in the approval, after it's been sent back, has reviewed the corrections. And then it will just go through each of these levels as they are reviewed, approved, disapproved. Once it gets to the budget office, then we will take one last look at it before it gets sent to HR for further processing and then implemented into the payroll system for payment. And this will, hopefully this summer, the PA will be input into the workflow process in Colleague. And then we will be able to track where the PA is at and know where it might be hung up at, so that we can easily follow through on where that's at. Because right now we have to start making phone calls, trying to figure out where it might be stuck at. So that will be a great process change for us and making it easier for all of us. Are there any questions on the routing? Amanda?
So like, if I put through a PA, it's for like a warrior wellness yoga session, or like athletics is gonna have them for like camps and stuff, where there's not gonna be like students. So is it a mandatory field, or do we just not fill it
I
out?
don't think that one's.
It's not mandatory. That one is, yeah. So, yep, if it's a camp that's going on, in number 10, you're already going to tell us that it's a, yeah, women's basketball camp, July 12th through the 15th. That should match those dates. Those dates right here should match whatever that is, and it needs to match the MOA that comes through. So, in the budget office, we look at all of those MOAs and we make sure that they match. If they don't, Brooke makes a contact. Yes.
There's very few exceptions.
I was gonna say, because how do I do an MOA whenever we don't know the dollar amount till after the camp?
There's a way, like, so that they've signed an agreement so that you have that, and it could be an hourly rate, it could be, if it's based on the number of campers, just some acknowledgement of what your agreement is. And then you can update that on the PA, like it may not have a dollar amount in that case, right? On your MOA, but you know what you've agreed to an hourly rate or some other type. And then on the PA, you could say there was this many campers at this rate, or this many hours at this rate.
Okay, so I can do an MOA and not put a dollar amount on there then.
But you need on the MOA, you need to be very clear
That
that we are going to pay per participant is X amount. Yeah, so then on the PA, you might have had 25 participants, right? At $10 a participant. So if we take that, then we should see $250 on the PA. Does that make sense? But just making sure you're very clear on that MOA and tying it back to that PA. So when we go to review it, we know exactly what we're looking for. No, there's no, well, yes, you could. If if it's strictly a one lump sum payment, don't worry about it. Yeah, so whatever information we need to know, put it in number 10. Or if you've got additional comments that wouldn't really fit in 10, put those additional comments in number 12. Well, everything is required up here. Yeah, the big boxes. If you have to put you have to put NA or something in there. Otherwise, it will not, it won't let you process the
And that
PA.
number 11, I think, is the only one, right?
So
Yeah. The one that's red.
Yeah.
Yep.
You said that it would go back, so like, let's say if you go through the approvals or this approval, does it go back to the most recent email that had been, like, that went through the approval, or does it go back to the person that prepared it?
Should go back to the one who prepared it.
And it also gives you lines that says why. So like, you're not just sending it back like, fix it. It'll be like, you know, the student ID is wrong, or, you know, something like that. So it gives you lines to put why you're sending it back, so they know what to fix.
Okay.
And then in the past, like these, when you send them, they go to the next field that's not filled in, but if we are sending it back to be re-edited and then reset, it should send back to that department head or whatever, but they have to go in and clear their signature, add a signature.
Really, the PA they should be starting over. If it's going back for corrections, it should be a brand new PA. Fix it and then hit that start workflow and back through the system.
Final one, once it has all the approvals and like all the HR stuff. Does it only go to prepared by email? Do you see what I'm saying?
To say it's finished.
Yeah.
We don't do the HR
Yeah,
piece.
who does that go to?
Lindsay's not in today, so I am not sure who it goes to when she clicks the button. I know when I click it, it only goes back to the coordinator department head. But I CC anybody who signed or prepared that document, because that way they all have the ability to track it too, right? Okay, well, it's made it to the budget office. And so that's what I do. I can't speak for Lindsay because I'm just not sure.
Cause I didn't. And I think so too. Cause I didn't know if it was possible that if the final PA could go to the person on the PA. So like I just got one back for a coach and then I forwarded it on to her, so she knew her pay date. Do you see what I'm saying? So I
Yeah,
didn't know if it could go to
There's
that
probably
person.
not, because we don't have their email on here,
Exactly.
and we don't generally give them to employees. I mean, I don't think it's an issue.
Could I put their email and prepare by email, or does that have to be me?
That
No,
has to be.
that's you.
That does have to be. me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Because the
Because
PA was not prepared by the employee.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you want to, once you get it back and it's done and you want to give it to that employee,
And that's what I do, I just forward it.
go ahead, feel free. I mean, it's their pay.
Yes.
So feel free to share it. You're on mute, Chelsea.
Sorry, can you hear me now? I wasn't sure you guys were ready for me.
Go for it.
Okay. I was just curious, some of our classes are kind of long going, and we in the past have selected to pay our instructors twice throughout their period. I don't see anywhere on here where you can select that they get paid like once or two times, or maybe I'm just missing it.
That's where you'll put it in number 10.
Okay.
Any information that we need to know, if we need to be making special, half, 2 equal payments or whatever, that's where we want you to give us any information we need in 10 and or 12.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Welcome. Are there any other questions? If not, I'm going to show you how to find the Warrior ID, which is this field right here. Of course it timed out.
They're really wide steps and I have really short legs. Just jump.
Give us just a second. We're going to get signed back in.
I didn't even think about that. My colleague times out really fast. Sorry,
Nope, you're good.
I didn't even think about it.
You're
My
good.
bad.
You're good.
So quick question, so we still have a PRC form though?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, there is still a personnel record card.
Austin, can I have my phone again? It's up there.
Oh, you're all, like, come on, you know that,
I just did one. I didn't know I had to do another one.
you gotta hit them. Do it all day.
Thank you.
So we just walked to the store, grabbed a bunch of beer and threw it at people and left.
Okay. Back in business,
We are
folks.
back in business. Do it quick, then time out again.
Okay, so in colleague, if you click this little person right here, and I will use myself as an example. Here I am. Here, right here is the Warrior ID number that you will need to put into the Warrior ID number on the PA.
This works for new employees. When does a new employee get a Warrior ID number?
So once you have done all the new hire paperwork through the IT process, through HR, the new email is created, they will create a Warrior ID. Once that process is done, they will be in here. So there's a workflow that is out there for hiring a new employee. So follow that workflow through. It will get the email set up so that they can do FERPA and all of those kinds of things. And the Warrior ID will be generated through that new hire process.
So it pops up and then do the PA. You can call me.
You can call them.
Usually email you.
Yeah.
Okay, making sure.
Do that.
Okay.
Cindy, there is another question.
Okay.
So we no longer need to calculate fringe question.
That is correct. You no longer need to do fringe. And you will see that we have removed it from the PA. So,
Bottom line is, no one was using it.
yep, nobody was using that.
Calculations. And I started asking questions because I check the math, right? Because that's what I do. I check the math. And I'm like, okay, that's all I do is check the math. So I went to Lindsay and I'm like, so what do you do with the fringe? And she's like, nothing. So I went to payroll and I said, do you do anything with fringe? And she said, no. And I said, okay, we're done calculating the fringe. So, and by redoing the form, we were able to remove it, whereas in all the other forms, it's still on it.
Yes, so forms. If you have a form downloaded on your computer and it is an old form, please delete it. This form becomes live Tuesday. No more old forms. So it should be out there and ready to be used. Please be sure each time you do a PA, please go out and download a new form. Please do not reuse old forms that you have on your computer. That way you ensure that you have the most recent version of the form. And we don't have to figure out how to do a workaround because you've used an old form. Okay, I am going to turn it over to Brooke, and she is going to talk to you about the new naming conventions.
Okay, and that's still up here, right? Just have to find it.
I pulled it, it's up on your.
Oh, okay, I got you. First, I want to say PAs have been great. I haven't had to send, I think I've sent back one PA in the last 3 or 4 months. So the PAs have been really good. So hopefully this will just help moving forward and not make it even more complicated. But the idea behind this naming convention is to really try to get the PDF named this and get this in the subject line of the email. Because I sometimes have 40 or 50 PAs in my box, and somebody will call and say, well, have you gotten this PA? Well, if there's no name, because sometimes it just says PA, I have to click down through all those emails to attempt to find the one that you're wanting to know if I have, which on most days is not a big deal, but on some days, you know, we get a call, I have a new hire, they're starting tomorrow, they haven't gotten a contract. And then I'm digging through all of those PA emails to try and find that person and get them a contract. So that is what this naming convention piece is about. So, I mean, for a brand new employee, we want it to be a number one. Yes. Oh. I will send it, yeah. I mean, the main thing is to get that number one on there, because then if somebody calls me and says, I have a new hire, they're starting tomorrow, I need a contract, I can literally just scroll through those 60 PAs, see that number one and go, I'm plucking that one out. Even if I'm not processing the rest of them today, I can get that one out and get somebody a contract. Same with new adjuncts. You know, the new adjuncts, they're trying to get access, they're trying to get into Canvas, they're all these pieces that they need. And so if I can at a glance see, oh, that's a new adjunct, classes start in 3 weeks, I need to get this person moving. And then for returning adjuncts, number 3, and all other PAs, and overload, number 4. I mean, if I get one, I mean, it's not like it's not going to get processed, but if you want contracts and those things done in a more timely manner, man, get these 1s and 2s on there. If it comes in and it's not labeled, it's still going to get processed. I'm just going to pick when I'm doing it versus trying to get you something faster. And then this note down here is for any classes that are under enrolled. You know, if you've got it had 10 students and it's now dropped to 8, and you're sending through that 10th day PA, if you think they're going to get full payment, you need to get Fred's permission. Think of anything else? Payment addition 4. 1 is really, yeah. 4 is like, they've been here, they're in the system, they're going to get paid when we get it processed. It's really about those 1s and 2s. I need to be able to recognize them quick. Or at least in a string of 60. So.
This also helps the VTs.
It does.
Which category is an internal staff but changing to an in-org position?
Internal staff changing. I mean, it's still considered a new hire as far as we're concerned, because we would be moving them between departments. We'd be updating budget codes. We'd be doing all of those things. I don't care if that's done all in one form, where they're leaving, where they're going. But I would prefer it have a 1, because odds are they still need a contract. And we want to make sure people are getting their contracts in a timely manner. They shouldn't be signing a contract after they've worked for 5 days. They should be knowing that upfront, what they've agreed to, and get that contract signed. I can't actually see the questions on chat, so. Any other questions? Yeah, and don't hesitate to reach out. I'm usually, if I'm at my desk, I'll answer a team problem.
Hey, Brooke.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if, so we can name the PA, but then when it is going to be sent with the routing green buttons, it just, you know, it's the subject line creates itself, like with signature or something, how can we, how is that going to be in the subject line when it's automatically created via the email?
You can add that number to the subject line. And you can
But-
also, if you name the PDF that, right, and you're scrolling down and it's to be signed, you can copy paste that as well.
But would everybody have to do that? So the next approver, they have to put that in the subject line?
Well, if they're copying it from when they sign the PDF, sorry, didn't realize I was doing that. Then, because when you go in there to sign that, you can copy that line right there. And
Okay,
replace that subject.
because I had that before that, it was sent on, so I put it in the subject line.
Yeah,
That
it
it was
does
1,
kick
2, or
out.
3, but
It does kick it out, but if the PDF is named to that, then you can copy that from the PDF line when you're signing it and just paste it into that subject line.
so then, the division chair needs to do that, then, everybody would need to know or should know that, hey, the dean, they need to change it, I mean, that's.
Yes, it's not, I mean, it's not convenient. And to be honest with you, we tried to make that a process within the PA, that it would automatically do that. But it kept breaking. And so the option was to, scrap it completely, which isn't helpful when when we're trying to get things done. But I mean, if it gets to me and it's not numbered, the world isn't going to end. It's just, if you've got a contract that you want out there, I'm not going to catch it. So you're probably going to have to pick up the phone, because if it's not numbered, I'm not going to be looking for it. And again, this is an attempt to try and get our new hires in the system so they have access, they have an email, they have, the access through IT that they need, because that's where the holdup is. Like, we can't get them access until these things are done. So the faster we can get that through there, the easier it is to recognize, not just for me, but for other areas before it gets to me, the better. Any other questions? Well, hearing none, if you, yeah,
I'm always happy to help. So send a Teams, send an email, pick up the phone. Brooke and I are very happy to help.
and if you discover something that's not working, like, we can test this, but until it's actually in use, you always find other things. So we're open, if something's not working or you think something would work better. I just know the biggest confusion and the calls I were getting is, I don't even know which form to use. There's 3 of them out there. I have no idea which form to use. And we hire adjuncts sometimes that work somewhere else on campus. I mean, your administrative person may or may not know that. And so this eliminates some of, those questions. You can just use this form. And then there's no, which one do I use? Only other thing to keep in mind, if you're hiring somebody across campus to teach something, I need some sort of approval from their supervisor. Either they need to sign the agreement with the employee, so I know that they are aware they're teaching, or attach an email to the PA that gives them permission to teach. But if they're teaching across their area, I need some sort of approval from their supervisor. And I mean, it can be simple as, so-and-so's teaching this, do you approve? Email back, approved. That's all I need. I just need to know that their supervisor knows they're teaching. Anything else? All right. Amanda did say this is included in the whole PDT payoff thing, right? And so we've got the questions to her. So if you're doing the whole PDT payoff, make sure you go do that piece. All righty, thanks, guys. If you think of anything, shoot me an email, teams, and I'll get to you.